So this is really section 2.7 that we're going to be covering, and we might go into 2.8. Okay? So the first thing we need to know is the different symbols in math. If you look over on the left, we've been mostly dealing with equalities so far. So we know what an equation is. That has an equal sign. Congruent means the same as, same shape, same size. We generally use that symbol. So we generally use congruent when we're talking about geometric shapes, meaning same size, same shape. This similar shape that you're seeing, that's not the correct symbol. The correct symbol is a little zigzag. It looks like this. But my PowerPoint is stuck, and I don't know. I think it's because it's a little, this means similar. Now this is when when something is proportional.
It's behind
The pen? For instance, so this means similar. My husband and son are similar. They both have a long torso and shorter legs. So my husband, when he's sitting down, he seems like he's taller than everybody. But you know, his legs are smaller and his torso is long. This is typical. Well, forget about that. I don't want to get myself. Okay. My son is the same way. When I buy him clothes, he's usually a size smaller in the pants and an adult size bigger in the shirt. So even though he's 10 years old, he's wearing an adult small because he has a long torso. That would be an example of similar, where you've got like the granddaddy triangle and you've got the baby triangle. If I double all the sides, it will be equivalent to the daddy triangle doubled. That's similar. Does that make sense? Yep. Whereas congruent is exactly the same shape, same size, everything. All right, so we've talked about that. There's the less than sign. There's the greater than. When you have this little line under the less than or greater than symbol, that's part of an equal sign. That's part of an equal sign. So this reads, is less than or equal to. Is greater than or equal to. This is when we use is approximately equal to. This is for like pi. When we cut pi off, we estimate it. Because we cut off all, infinite digits. And the last symbol is not equal to. Not equal. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is, I have my little opener here. I'm going to get you guys warmed up. And I would like for you to take a minute and write all the numbers that are less than 2. Less than or equal to 2. Write all the numbers. Go. Pause the recording and write all the numbers less than 2. So Abby's helping me list all the numbers. Negative 28, negative 29, negative 30.
Negative 31, negative 32, negative 33, negative 34.
Negative 34.
Negative 35, negative 36, negative 37, negative 38, negative 39, negative 40, negative 41, negative 42, negative 43, negative 44, negative 49, negative 60, negative 60.
Negative 60? You jumped from 50 to 60. We left some out.
Okay, sorry. Negative 50, negative 51, negative 52, negative...
Shh. All right. This is getting boring.
Yes. I'm on 112.
All right. Did you really write 112 numbers?
You did.
Anybody else kind of exhausted? But you know what? I'm going to give this to you for Friday night for homework. And you are to write every number down. And if you don't get them all, you're going to finish it on Saturday night. And what you don't finish there, you're going to write them down on Sunday because you're all being a bunch of babies. I said all the numbers less than 2. Yes, you have to. That means, William, you are to write every number less than 2 until you die. Okay? That's when you get to stop. Okay. Shh. So, does anybody want the shortcut? All right. Shh. So, no, I'm not going to make you stay home all weekend and spend the next 10 days in class writing numbers less than 2. Rather, I'm going to teach you the shortcut. But unless you go through the long way, you won't want to do the shortcut unless you've done that long way. But now that you know there's a lot of work involved to write every number less than 2, I'm going to show you the shortcut. So step 1 is we make a number line. Shh. Okay? You really don't need to write all these numbers down. For instance, here's how I make my number line. I make a number line, and this inequality right here involves the number 2. I need 2 and 0. Every time I'm graphing, I want to see where is 2 in relation to 0. So I need a 0 and I need a 2. 2 is to the right. Now, when I'm graphing this, this says x is what? Less than or equal to 2. So I go to the 2 and I draw a circle. I can do it right on it or I can do it right above it. Now, I draw a circle. Now, what that means or equal to, means it includes 2 in that number set. So all the numbers that we're listing is 2, 1, 2, 1, -1, -2, -5, -100. But 2 is part of that number set because it has the equal to. So to show that it includes the 2, whenever you see the or equal to, you've got to color it in because that means it includes 2. Now, Paulina, which direction would the numbers be smaller than 2? To the right or to the left? She says to the left. And I just put an arrow. That means every number smaller than 2 on the number line. To the left. That includes all the fractions and decimals in here. Okay? Now, you could see that the number line in the PowerPoint, they use all the numbers. You don't need to do that. It just blocks it and makes it a little hard to read. It takes too much time from you guys. 0 and the number you're graphing. So notice, number 1, does that make that statement true? If I substitute 1 for x, is that a true statement? Yeah. So 1 is less than or equal to 2. Is 0 less than or equal to 2? Yeah. I mean, there's an infinite amount of points, even the points in between. So what I do is I just show it with a graph. I connect them all, and when you color in the circle, that means it includes the 2 in all the answers. Okay? Next one. X is greater than -3. What numbers do I need on my number line? What numbers do I need, David?
0,
I need a 0 and a -3. Does -3 go over here and 0 goes here? No, that's not the order on the number line. I got to put it in the order. I want to know if you know where -3 is. -3 is a little bit to the left of 0. Okay, where do I start this graph? Where did I start before? On the 2. Where do I start this one? I start at -3. What's written? Okay, is this going to be a solid or an open circle? It's solid when I see that line, because then it means that it includes 3. But does this include 3?
It's an open.
This is x is greater than -3. X is greater than -3. It doesn't include -3. X is greater than -3. So which direction would it go in? Shelley? To the right. X is greater than -3. And so that includes every point greater than -3, but not -3. -2 and 99 hundredths, -2 and 79 hundredths, -1, 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, a million. It includes all those, but not -3. Do you understand the difference between an open circle and a solid circle? Okay? That's the question you're asking yourself. Notice it goes everything before but not including. Okay, questions? Anybody? Eva? Okay, if I were to list all the numbers in the top one, the numbers that go into the set that are part of this solution that would make this a true statement, I could put a 2 in there. I could put a negative. I could put a 1 in there. I could put a 0. I could put a -1, and so on in that same direction. But it includes the number I start at.
Is that supposed to be a positive one?
Yeah. Okay? But this one right here, look at it. It's an open circle. You with me? It doesn't have the line here. The solid circle has the line here. Do you understand? Eva, are you seeing this? Okay. This one doesn't have that line. So it doesn't include 3. All the numbers in the number set are after 3. So what's the next number next to 3? -3. -2, -1, but not -3. Even I could start on these numbers. -2, 2.9. But not 3. That's what the solid and the open mean. Have I clarified this to you? Okay. So this is 2.99, -1, 0, ... and so on. Fit into that number set. Okay, so now let's have, why don't you actually, you guys write down what's on the chart, and I'm going to write it down here for anybody who's watching this at home. Make sure you have the information on the chart. So I've got, this is a symbol for less than, and it looks like this on a graph. Here's the symbol for greater than, and it looks like this on a graph. Then I've got less than or equal to. And that's a solid, oops, I should do this. It's a solid circle. And it goes in the left. Goes to the left. And then I've got greater than or equal to. It's a solid circle. I'm going to the right. Notice when it's equal to, it's solid. When it's less than or greater than, it's an open circle. Oh, yeah. So that should be, oops. I was having technical difficulties. All right. When it says all real numbers, it says write an inequality that represents each statement and graph. Okay? When it says all real numbers, that means from our real number system. As opposed to the imaginary number system, which would be like the square root of -4. What number times itself equals a negative? At your level, nothing. Okay? So, or what if, like when they say, I guess it wouldn't be the square root of -4. It would be the square root of x is equal to -4. There's no number you could find that would fill that in other than an imaginary number. We don't need to learn about that until you're older. Right now, we're just dealing with the real number system, which are all the numbers you're used to seeing. So, any real number, we're going to place an x for. X is less than or equal to 3. Is less than or equal to 3. Is less than, look what I'm doing, is less than or equal to 3. There's the right and inequality. I've done the first part. Now I have to graph. The directions are asking for two things. What do I need on my graph? Josh?
0
And?
3.
Good. Where's my starting point? Where's my starting point? Where's my starting point? Raising a quiet hand. Sarah? 3 is the starting point. So I'm going to start there. Is it going to be a solid or a open circle? Solid, because it says or equal to. So I have to fill that in anytime you see. Now, which direction are the numbers less than or equal to 3? George? Jorge? Which direction are they less than or equal to 3? On the number line. To the left. I just write my arrow. And here I go. Shh. Questions? Okay, why don't you try number 2 on your own? Pause the recording. And you guys try it on your own. All right, let's check number 2. What is the inequality? Ava.
I got x is greater than -2.
Perfect.
And then
Hold on. Paulina, where am I starting on my number line? I'm starting at -2. Okay. Is it an open or a solid circle? Open circle. And, oops, it's going to which direction? To the right. Okay. Let's check our work on number 3. Yes.
when we're doing this for homework, we have to draw all the different little numbers, or we just do
What did I say? Do you have to draw all the little numbers? No. What two numbers must you draw? 0 and the number you're graphing. You don't have to draw all the little numbers. Good. Do it the shortcut way. I don't want you to do more work. I want you to have free time. So, yes. Huh? And your circle. Okay, Lilith, where are we starting? Well, oh, yeah. Translate it.
X is greater than...
On number 3?
Oh, wait. X and then the less than...
Is less than?
-4.
Good. And where is it starting, Lilith?
-4.
At -4.
And it's
Is
going
open or closed circle?
close.
Or open or solid? Okay, which direction?
Left.
To the left. And you got to put an arrow on it. If you don't put the arrow, you don't get credit. It doesn't mean every number in that direction. It just means the numbers. If I get something that looks like this is how you graph a single digit. The equation would look like this. X equals 3. And that's just a dot on the line. Does that make sense? Yeah. As opposed to X equals, is any number greater than 3, that would be like this. Oops, it would actually be like this. And like that. And if it was X is greater than or equal to 3, it would look like this. Is that making sense? Okay. All right, so now, these get a little bit trickier. A number X is at least 2. You got to make sense of these. A number X is at least 2. Does that mean X can be more than 2 or less than 2? If I say I want at least $2 from you to cover your lunch, does that mean I get more or less? I'm going to In-N-Out for lunch. I want at least $2. That means he's going to give me more than $2. So which way is my number line, and how would I write the inequality, and which way is my number line going to be? I want to hear from somebody I haven't heard from. Chris, why don't you try it? A number X is at least 2.
Number X is at least 2.
What's the inequality?
It's X and anything smaller than...
Okay, if I say to you, I want at least $2 to pay for your lunch, how much money are you going to give me?
Like $2.
So if you gave me $1.99, are you giving me at least $2? So what if you gave me $2.50? Is that at least $2? So what is it going to look like? X is what?
X is 2 and anything bigger than 2.
Great. X, it's going to be X is greater than or equal to 2. It can equal $2 and it can be anything more but not less than. Okay? And then we would graph it. Okay? A number Y is less than -2. Is less than. Y is less than -2. How's that gonna, what's the inequality gonna look like, Paris? Can you guys try and get with me? Thank you. What's the inequality gonna look like when it says a number Y is less than -2? What's the inequality look like? There's the inequality for the first one. X is greater than or equal to 2. What's the inequality?
It's going to be more. It's like greater.
Give me a statement.
The number Y is greater than...
It's going to be Y. Wait, is greater than. Where are you seeing greater than? Look at the writing. A number Y is less than. Does that mean you told me to write this? Y is less than -2. I mean, you told me to write this. Y is greater than. So if I have 5 is greater than negative 2, does that mean y is less than negative 2? So how do I write that?
Y is less than negative 2.
Perfect. So I'm doing y is less than negative 2. A number n is no more than 4. A number n is no more than 4. How about Akira? How would you write that? A number n is no more than 4.
N.
Keep going. Is no more than 4. Does that mean it's more or less? To satisfy that statement, a number n is no more than 4. Has to be less. So n. Okay, and a number is n is no more than 4. You're almost there. Can it be 4? Does it include 4? A number n is no more than 4. I think n is less than 4. No more than 4. Can it include 4? That's what we have to ask ourselves. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So it can be 4, but it can't be anything more. So then we have to put is less than or equal to. And then we graph. So the word problems get a little tricky. And then now we have to write the inequality. It's not hard. What do I always start with? Josh. X. So X. Okay, where's my starting point? 2. And what direction is it going in? Is that greater than or less than? Less than, and I need it to also have an, does it have an equal sign or no? Because there's no solid line, there's no solid dot. So we don't put the equal sign. Yes?
When it says write inequality, when you just wrote it as 2, as x is less than 2.
Isn't that an unequal statement?
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's why it's called an inequality.
But are you supposed to write it like that, or are you supposed to write it written out in words?
No, not in words. We're writing the inequality. Okay? The inequality is the x is less than 2 sign. Okay, so the next one. Raise your hand if you can tell me the next one. Paulina?
X is greater than or equal to -1.
Perfect. Okay. Why don't you guys do 2 through 6? Go. Pause the recording. All right, so number 3. What is the inequality, please? Somebody I haven't heard from. Tanya or Tatiana? Tati. Shh.
X is less than 0.
Number 3. Shh. Is it going in the, this is number 3.
Yeah.
Is it going in the less than direction, the arrow?
Yeah. No, greater than 0.
X is greater than 0.
Sorry.
Good. Okay, why don't you try the next one, Tati?
X is greater than -9.
Perfect. Number 5. Alasia.
X is greater than or equal to 15.
X is greater than or equal to 15. Good. Sergio, number 6.
Okay. X is greater than -24.
Is greater than
Less than.
or,
X is less than or
but it's
equal
solid. Or equal to, it includes 24. Okay? You got it. All right. Shh. We're not going to do solving inequalities right now, but I want to show you, like, when you have this type of situation. Okay. Actually, let me just go back here. If I get something like this, x, this is the most difficult part of this. This is what causes most people to go wrong on a test. If I have 4, we have 2 ways we can do this. Read from the variable. Okay, so this, if I'm graphing this, I need 0 and 4. And now let's read it together. Stop. Shh. We're going to read it together. X is greater than, notice the greater than is touching the x. 4. Where is my starting point? Shh. Josh? No, where's the starting point on the graph? Come on, guys. X? 4. There's my starting point. Shh. All right, so my starting point is at 4. And now, reading from here, x is greater than 4. Which direction from here are the greater than numbers? Josh? To the right. You can also, that's method number 1. You can also rewrite it. Notice x is closer to the opening space. X is greater than or equal to 4, and then graph like that. So you can either read from the variable or rewrite it. That's what gets tricky. All right, and that's the end of the lesson.